My world came crashing down the day I discovered the truth. The truth about the man I loved, the family that betrayed me, and the emotional warfare I was forced to survive. What they did to me changed everything, but in the end, it gave me the power to rebuild my life and finally find my worth. My name is Grace. And this is the moment my world shattered. I should have known something was off when Ethan started coming home late more often. I should have listened to the little voice in my head that kept whispering, "He's hiding something." But I didn't. I trusted him. I loved him. I thought I knew him. I was wrong. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when I saw it. The message. It was an accidental notification that popped up while Ethan was in the shower. A name, Jenna, popped up in a text from someone I didn't know. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you already." I stared at the screen. My heart began to race, panic creeping in. I wasn't the type to snoop. But something inside me pushed me to tap on it. What I read next was a punch to my gut. It wasn't just one message, it was a conversation. "You're the only one who makes me feel alive. I miss the way you laugh, the way you make me feel. I'm counting down the days until we're together again." I sat there, frozen, the world around me muffling into a low hum. My stomach turned. This couldn't be real. Ethan, my Ethan, was seeing someone else. I heard him step out of the bathroom, and my hands started to shake. I couldn't breathe. The room felt like it was closing in on me. "Grace. You okay?" His voice, that familiar, comforting voice, it felt foreign now. I couldn't look at him. I didn't want to. Not like this. Not with that betrayal hanging between us. "Grace," he repeated, walking over to me. I turned, my face betraying my tears. "Who's Jenna?" The question came out before I even realized it. His face froze, a flash of panic in his eyes. But only for a second. His mask quickly slipped back on. "What are you talking about?" "You know exactly what I'm talking about." My voice was shaky, but it was enough to make him pause. Ethan exhaled sharply, running his hand through his hair. "Grace, it's not what you think." "Then what is it, Ethan?" I snapped. "Because I'm seeing it right in front of me. I miss you, can't wait to see you." He opened his mouth, but the words didn't come out. "I'm not stupid. I saw your messages. So, who the hell is she?" I was shaking now, my voice rising. He took a step closer to me, but I couldn't bear to be near him. "Grace, please, just listen." "No," I shouted. "You don't get to explain this away. I don't need your excuses. I don't need your lies. Grace, please, just let me." "Just let you what?" I interrupted, my tears falling faster now. "What could you possibly say that would make any of this okay? You've been seeing her behind my back this whole time, haven't you?" His silence was all the confirmation I needed. The cold, sharp truth pierced me like a dagger. I felt the weight of his betrayal crush me. The man I thought I knew, the man I trusted, was nothing but a stranger. I took a step back, my chest tightening. "I can't believe you," I whispered, the words barely leaving my mouth. "After everything, this is how you repay me." He reached for me, but I stepped away, not wanting him to touch me. "You need to leave," I said quietly, but with more strength than I felt. He looked stunned. "Grace, I never wanted to hurt you." "Then why did you?" I choked out. "Why?" He didn't answer. He just stood there, looking lost. But I wasn't the one who was lost anymore. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I couldn't stay. Not here. Not with him. This was no longer my home. It was a prison. I turned and grabbed my phone, my hands still trembling. "I'm done." The words felt like they were coming from someone else, but they were the truth. I was done with the lies, with the hurt, with the years wasted on someone who didn't care about me the way I thought he did. I packed a bag. It wasn't much, just a few clothes, but it was enough. Enough to start over. But as I walked out the door, I couldn't help but wonder, how did I let myself get here? Why didn't I see the signs sooner? Was I just too blind to everything but him? All those questions would have to wait. I wasn't going to let them control me anymore. I wasn't going to let him control me. I stepped out into the cold night air, and for the first time in a long while, I felt free. The first night alone in the apartment felt like I was suffocating. I couldn't stop crying. Every thought, every memory, replayed in my mind like a movie I didn't want to watch. How had I not seen it? How had I not known? The way Ethan looked at me when he lied, the times he came home late and smelled like someone else's perfume, the way he'd pull away when I tried to hold his hand. I thought I was imagining it. I thought I was being paranoid. But I wasn't. I sat up most of the night, staring at the walls, the silence suffocating me. My phone buzzed a few times, but I couldn't bring myself to look. It was probably him, trying to explain, trying to apologize. But I wasn't sure I wanted to hear anything he had to say. The next day, I texted Lily. I needed someone. Anyone. She was the one person I trusted, the one person who had always believed in me. When we met up for coffee, I could already feel the weight of the conversation before she even opened her mouth. "I'm sorry, Grace," she said, looking down at her coffee cup. "I never wanted to hurt you." I frowned, my stomach twisting in confusion. "What are you talking about?" She hesitated before speaking again. I knew. I knew about Ethan and Jenna. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to break your heart. But I couldn't watch you go through this without you knowing the truth. The world around me seemed to stop. "You knew. And you didn't tell me." "I didn't want to be the one to shatter your world, Grace," she said, her voice thick with guilt. "I thought you were happy. I thought it would hurt you more if I said something. I thought you were too invested, too deep into it. I never meant to make you feel like this." I wanted to scream, to throw my coffee cup at her, but instead, I just sat there, frozen, my mind spinning. "You knew. And you didn't tell me. You watched him hurt me, and you didn't say anything." My voice was breaking, and I hated that it was. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her eyes full of regret. But I wasn't angry at Lily. I wasn't. I was angry at myself. I had trusted her, trusted everyone, and all of them, Ethan, Lily, my family, had let me down. It was like the floodgates had opened. Everything I had tried to ignore, the nagging feelings of self-doubt, the whispers in my mind telling me I wasn't good enough, came crashing down on me. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't enough for anyone. I started to spiral. The self-doubt ate at me like a poison. What had I done wrong? Why wasn't I enough for Ethan? For Lily? For my own family? It hit me like a ton of bricks. My mother, Sarah, had never made me feel like I was good enough. No matter what I did, it was never enough. And I realized now that Ethan had always mirrored that behavior. His actions, his lies, they were just a reflection of the way I'd been treated my entire life. I wasn't special to him. I was just there. An option. Something to fill the space until something better came along. And that realization, that ugly truth, shattered me even more. I spent the next few days in a fog, barely able to get out of bed. I couldn't bring myself to face the world outside. How could I, when the one person I trusted had been deceiving me the entire time? How could I trust anyone after what I had been through? But deep inside, I knew something had to change. I couldn't keep living in this emotional pit. I couldn't keep questioning myself, blaming myself, for things I didn't cause. I had to pull myself out of this. For the first time in weeks, I looked at myself in the mirror not to criticize my reflection, but to see the girl I used to be. The girl who was strong, who had hope, who believed in herself. That girl was still inside me. And I wasn't going to let her die. I stood up. I grabbed my phone, and I typed out the words I had been avoiding for so long. "I'm done." The message was sent to Ethan. I couldn't keep playing this game anymore. I couldn't let him control me, couldn't let him have this power over me. The moment I hit send, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It wasn't going to be easy, but I had taken the first step. And I wasn't going back. It was time to take control of my life. Time to leave the past behind, and finally, take back what was mine. It's strange how quickly everything can change. One minute, you're drowning in the weight of betrayal, and the next, you find yourself standing tall, holding your breath for the first time in months. That's where I was. I had made the decision, I was done. No more being the victim, no more letting anyone walk all over me. But even as I typed those words to Ethan, I felt like I was walking on shaky ground. Could I really do this? Could I really walk away from the man I had invested years of my life into? He was the one I thought I was going to marry. The one I thought I'd grow old with. I couldn't sleep. The nights were still unbearable. But now, they were filled with a new kind of energy, a kind of fire that had been buried beneath the ashes of heartbreak. I wasn't going to let the same darkness swallow me again. I spent days alone in the apartment, trying to wrap my head around everything. My mind kept circling back to what had gone wrong. How could I have been so blind? Why had I given so much of myself to someone who clearly didn't value me? But then, something shifted. It wasn't immediate. It was subtle, creeping in when I least expected it. I began to focus on the little things, the things that made me feel strong again. I remembered how I used to write. My journal entries, my poems, writing had always been my escape. I hadn't picked up a pen in months, but that night, something inside me clicked. I sat at my desk, took a deep breath, and began writing again. The first few words were shaky. They didn't make much sense. But as I wrote more, I started to feel a sense of release. Each sentence was like pulling a thread that was tangled around my heart. I wrote about the pain, the anger, the betrayal, and even the guilt that had been eating away at me. But as I wrote, I could feel the weight of it lifting. I could feel myself taking back control, piece by piece. And then there was the phone call. Lily called me a week after the confrontation with Ethan. Her voice was softer than usual, like she didn't know how to approach me. I picked up the phone, my heart heavy with everything that had happened between us. I didn't know if I was ready to talk to her, but I knew I had to. "Grace," she said, her voice shaky, "I'm so sorry. I never meant for things to end up like this. I thought I was protecting you, but now I see I've made everything worse." I wasn't angry at her anymore. I wasn't angry at anyone anymore. Not at Ethan, not at Lily, not at my mom. I had spent so much time being angry at the world, at the people who had failed me, but it wasn't serving me anymore. The anger was exhausting. It was keeping me stuck. "I know, Lily," I said quietly. "But I need you to understand that I can't keep living like this. I can't keep pretending that everything's okay when it's not. I can't keep letting people take pieces of me." There was silence on the other end of the line. I could almost feel the weight of her apology hanging in the air. "I get it, Grace," she whispered. "I really do. I want you to know I'm here for you. I always have been." The conversation didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the pain, or the betrayal, or the doubts. But it was a step forward. I didn't need Lily to apologize for what had happened. I needed her to understand that I was done living in the past. I was done letting other people define who I was. As I hung up the phone, I felt a strange calm wash over me. A sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. I wasn't okay, not yet. But I was getting there. And that was enough. The next morning, I woke up with a sense of clarity. I had finally come to terms with the fact that it wasn't my fault. Ethan's betrayal wasn't about me. It was about him. It always had been. And I wasn't going to let his actions continue to control my life. I stood up, walked to the window, and looked out at the city. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like someone who had survived. And that survival, it meant something. It meant I had strength. It meant I had the power to change my life. And I was going to do just that. I wasn't just walking away from Ethan. I was walking away from everything that had held me back, everything that had made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I was ready to take control. The days blurred together after that. I was in a haze, living in the apartment, surrounded by memories of a life that wasn't mine anymore. I spent my time focusing on myself, on the things that made me feel whole. I wasn't completely healed, but I was on the right path. Every day felt like a battle to reclaim what was mine, and each small victory meant more than the last. I was finding my strength again. But the past has a way of finding you, no matter how much you try to outrun it. I got the message from Ethan one morning, just a few words, but they hit me like a tidal wave. I'm sorry. Let's talk. My stomach churned when I saw his name. It was the last thing I wanted. But something inside me knew this wasn't about him anymore. This was about me. I couldn't keep running. I needed to face him, to stand up to everything he had done to me. So, I agreed to meet him. The coffee shop was quiet when I walked in. Ethan was sitting by the window, his posture slumped, looking like the man I once knew, but also nothing like him. His eyes flicked up when I entered, and for a brief moment, I saw that familiar spark of hope in them. He stood up, but I shook my head. No, stay seated, I said, my voice firm but calm. I'll do the talking. Ethan sat back down, the air thick between us. I could feel the weight of the past few months pressing down on my chest, but I wasn't going to let it crush me. Not anymore. I read your message, I said, my voice steady. But I don't need your apology. It's not going to fix what you did. What you put me through. You made your choices. And now, I'm making mine. Ethan's face fell, but he didn't say anything. I knew he was waiting for me to give him a chance to explain. But I had no interest in hearing his excuses anymore. The truth was right in front of me, and I didn't need him to justify it. I let you hurt me for so long, I continued, feeling the words coming easier now. I let you lie to me. I let you make me feel worthless. But I'm done. I'm done with you, with all of it. And I won't let you drag me back into this. You don't get to have that power over me anymore. Ethan opened his mouth to speak, but I held up my hand. I don't want to hear it, Ethan. You had your chance. You chose Jenna. You chose lying. And I'm the one who has to pick up the pieces of what's left. I felt my chest tighten, but I kept going. But not anymore. I'm not picking up your mess. I'm done. His face twisted in frustration. Grace, please. I'm not your fixer, I cut him off. You never gave me the chance to be anything else. I was always just a placeholder for you. And I won't stand for it anymore. The anger inside me burned hot for a moment, but it didn't last. Instead, I felt something else rising, something stronger than the anger, stronger than the sadness. It was relief. I was finally free. I want you to leave, Ethan, I said, my voice softer now, but no less firm. I want you to leave and never come back. I'm done. And I'm not looking back. He sat there, stunned, as the weight of my words hit him. For the first time, I saw him for what he truly was: selfish, manipulative, weak. And for the first time, I felt no attachment. I stood up, pushing my chair back. Goodbye, Ethan. Don't contact me again. I turned and walked out, feeling the cool air hit my face as I stepped into the street. It was over. There was no more holding on. No more questioning my worth. No more allowing anyone to take from me what wasn't theirs to take. I had finally reclaimed my life. It was mine again. I didn't look back. As I walked down the street, a sense of calm washed over me. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't lost. I was finding my way back to who I used to be, the girl who didn't let anyone define her. I was stronger than I had ever been. And the road ahead, it was mine to walk.